Hello everyone, my name is Ruben Kiss, and for this week's video, we will be going over characteristics of healthcare management consultants, what characteristics they display. I'm going to talk about two of these characteristics that I feel like I'm pretty good at, two that I kind of still need to work on, and also some of these characteristics that I see in individuals that work in my current place of employment and then some of the challenges that they might face. We're going to talk about that. Then I'm going to review kind of what we went over. The first quality for that I see for myself, actually, before I get into that, I'd like to talk about what I do and to kind of put things in perspective. So, I am a respiratory therapist at Cox South. I recently graduated in May, so I haven't been doing it very long. So some of the responses may be kind of driven by where I'm at in my profession, how long I've been doing it. So the first characteristic that I see that I feel like I do pretty well anyway, is having integrity. So the book kind of goes over integrity as, for example, the deliverables such or services or products delivered during or at an end of a project meet the contract specification and schedules. Beyond keeping promises or agreements, managers with integrity are good or virtuous, kind, honest, fair, and upright, and consistently display coherence between commitments and values. So I kind of feel like my integrity in this definitely lies on, trying to get things done on time. I feel like there's not always as much on my plate as there are on maybe some more experienced therapists. And that challenge of me, moving from where I'm at to, one of these roles is making sure that the things that are on my plate are getting done to the best of my abilities. And also there's instances where, I have to communicate, like if I get tied up with one patient and I'm not able to, you know, if I'm not able to get to the rest of my rounds, I may need to call my manager and let them know what's going on. Or on occasion there's situations where something gets missed and there's a red med. With that red med, do I go ahead and mark? I don't go ahead and mark it off that, I did it if I did not do it. So part of that has to do with the integrity aspect of where I see some of my strengths. There are still things that I need to work on in this aspect, but for the most part I feel like I'm pretty good at that. And the next part is honesty. The book describes honesty as, be truthful in all forms or in all forms of professional and organizational communication, and avoid disseminating information that is false, misleading, or deceptive. So a lot of times for me, I kind of see this as like, a lot of times families come and ask me, what's going on with the patient. And I'm not gonna I make sure and I let them know from my perspective, kind of, what I'm doing. I don't tell them, oh, I'm not doing this when I am doing something, just to kind of shelter them. At the same time, if they ask me questions, there's a lot of things that, if they ask me, is he going to be okay or is she going to be okay? A lot of times I tell them, I don't know. Like I can't answer that question. I'm not going to try to mislead the the patient. Also, with the physician, a lot of times they'll come in the morning and ask me, how did this patient do? And there's times where, they did good for the most part, but there's situations that the physician needs to know about, and I'm not trying to kind of hide any of that information from the physician. I'm gonna let them know. I'm not trying to sell myself like, oh, I did a good job. Sometimes it's the patient that, they they circled the drain and didn't do bad. And even if I did a great job, there's nothing I could have done. So I don't see it from that aspect. I see it as, there's whatever the truth is, I need to communicate it, whether it's to, my employer, whether it's through a physician or to a physician, whether it's to the patient's family. I need to make sure and I'm honest. So those both of those things kind of tie into the same thing, integrity and honesty. And I think that's kind of a good place to start and say, like, things that I can be good at, even without the most amount of experience. I should still be good at these aspects. But Some of the aspects that I feel like I'm not as good at this point is competence. So the book talks about competence, and it says the ability to demonstrate and teach behaviors and skills associated with effective performance in a profession. So part of being new, I definitely see, I don't think I'm bad at this, but I definitely see a lot of room for growth in this aspect. I definitely feel like there's a lot of room to grow, and I'm definitely far from being in a position to be able to teach individuals, some of the information that we have that we need to know, or some of the skills when I'm still learning. I can teach, I guess, to my knowledge, but I mean to put it out there to, as a consultant in that role, I still have a lot of room for growth in that aspect. And the second part that I feel like, I still have a lot of room for growth is commitment to learning. That's the final point that they kind of go over in the book. And for that characteristic, just commitment to learning. Um, there's a lot of information out there, especially as a respiratory therapist, that I mean, I just came out of school, so I've been taught more of the recent information, but a lot of new information is still coming out. Medicine is always evolving, so how am I continuing to consume this information and stay up to date? Um, I just recently went to I did some research when I was a student, and the research got published. I went to the National Respiratory Therapy Conference, and there, I kind of, put it in perspective, like all that respiratory therapy can do. But it also, there's at that conference, you kind of see like where the profession is heading. What is the new research that's coming out there. I'm also a part of the AARC, um, American Association of Respiratory Care, and they send me a newsletter every month. Um, I have to pay a little bit out of pocket, but they do more than just send me that newsletter. They also kind of manage my credentials. That's more of the reason why I paid for it initially. That's what sold me on it. But now I definitely see that it's important that I'm getting this information every month, some new research that I can apply to my job, and have some of the latest information that's available out to me. Um, with this commitment to learning, I have yet to have many instances where it's like there's situations where I didn't know where to consume this from. At this point, these are the only things that I've been doing to continue to grow um, my knowledge. But there's also other aspects that I'm not tapping into, and especially for me to be a consultant to healthcare management, I need to have a broader horizon on where I'm getting my information, and also just my general understanding. I feel like it's going to grow the longer I get to do respiratory care. My knowledge on my profession. So for the second part of this, it says also finally talk about or discuss experience I have with individuals like this in your current workplace or professional setting. So some experiences that I have is, especially with my employers, everybody who's in a management position, they're always, they have integrity. They're always getting things done in a timely manner. Um, if they got to make our schedule, they make sure and they let us know well before our shift if there's any changes that happen. If there's anything that we need to do, usually they do a really good job of communicating. So I think all of these little skills kind of add up to being a good healthcare manager. And finally, it says, what challenges do these individuals face? I think the challenges that they face are pretty much the challenges that anybody faces. You got family aspect. Maybe you're just having a bad day one day. Sometimes you're being overworked. Sometimes we're short staffed. All these aspects kind of present its own unique challenges that we kind of have to deal with. And we kind of have to filter and see how we can best use some of these practices to continue to provide leadership to our company. So kind of went over some of the characteristics that are represented. There's integrity, competence, fidelity, honesty, justice, dignity, and commitment to learning. All these characteristics are super important for being in a management position and having a good understanding and good self-reflect and a good amount of self-reflecting to see where you're at and where you can grow. These are really good tools to just kind of go over and just review when you're looking at other people, when you're looking at yourself. So we went over a few of those examples, what I'm good at, what I'm not good at, and what I kind of see from my management position and what are some of the challenges. Those challenges that they have are the same challenges that I have. So I think it really puts it in perspective. I talk about some of the issues that I'm having and then some of the good things that I see in my management. That kind of puts it in perspective on like where I'm at now and what am I doing to get to where I'd like to be in those positions. So thanks for taking the time to listen to the video and have a good day.